I think I would just say this. I would say have a clear vision, have a clear direction, know what your goals are. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There are plenty of people out there who have done things already that you're trying to do. So build a strong network, build a strong team, and then you have to take action. You can't sit around. You can't just talk about it. You can't look at the data forever. You got to actually take action. And if you do those things, if you have a clear vision, if you build a strong team, and then you take action, you will achieve your goals.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I am your host, Q Edmonds. And you know what I'm going to say? I'm excited to be here. We have another dynamic guest. I'm telling you, I really appreciate the people that I get to meet. And today, this guy, he's going to talk to you about multifamily syndication. But more importantly, I love the way this gentleman, his brain works, right? He is an analyst. Like, he loves the art of the deal, researching, using data. You're not going to get this guy too emotional. He's going to go by the data. With the data it shows him, that's how he's going to structure the deal. But also, he just has a story to tell, like most people that come on. That's what excites me, is when I get a chance to peek through people's lenses and they get to take me into their world. And so today's going to be no different. And I'm so excited to introduce you to Mr. Jason Kenney. Mr. Jason, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing really well, Quinn. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. Excited for you to be here. Listen, Jason, I ain't gonna waste no time. I want you to take us into your world. I want you to tell us what your main focus is these days. Maybe tell us where you are in the world, what market you're operating in. And Jason, honestly, if you want to give us a little origin story, we love origin stories. So if you want to tell us a little bit how you got started in real estate, we would love that too. But listen, Mr. Jason, you got the floor, sir.
Yeah, sure. So I guess I'll start with an origin story, give some people some context around my story. So I've got a corporate background, spent about 20 years as an IT analyst, like you mentioned earlier during the intro. About 10 of those years were in financial services. Another 10 were in the medical field. My wife also has a corporate background, spent about the same amount of time, but she does medical device sales. And we really spent quite a bit of that time just kind of moving around the country, climbing the corporate ladder, chasing promotions. And, while it was just me and her, it was great. It was, we were earning a great living and got to live in some really cool places. And we bought a beautiful home and all of that. But eventually it kind of started to burn us out. And we got to a place where it was just a tough pace to keep. And when you're climbing the corporate ladder, every rung that you climb, you're kind of giving a little bit more of yourself, right? You're spending more time, more stress, more responsibility. And for my wife, it was more time away from home. So traveling for sales, she was on and off an airplane about every other week, and pretty much living out of a suitcase. And so over time, it really just started to take its toll. And things really, we kind of had a turning point after our first son was born. We were able to take a leave and spend the first couple of months with him. And of course, the day came when my wife had to get back on a plane and start traveling again. And I remember standing in the foyer of our house, and she was standing there, holding our 3-month-old, and she was just crying, Quentin. I mean, she was just crying her eyes out. because it was the first time since he was born that she was going to have to separate from him. So I remember just feeling really awful. I remember thinking like, we've done all this stuff. We moved all over the country. We took on all this pressure and this responsibility, and we're still in a situation where, like we have to pay somebody else to watch our kid. Like this is the situation we found ourselves in. So it was kind of a realization for us at that point that we needed to make some changes.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And that's really what got us into real estate investing. So we made a conscious decision at that point that we were going to be more intentional with the incomes that we had literally spent decades kind of building. And we were going to start, consuming less, investing more, and buying assets that not only generated wealth for the long term, but that gave us cash flow that we could use now. Up until that point, every single dollar of income we had was tied to our W-2 income. We were completely tied to our paychecks. All the wealth we had was locked up in retirement accounts, stuck in equities. So we really just didn't have the freedom and flexibility that we thought we were going to have. And so, my wife and I got to talking and decided that real estate was going to be a good way for us to build wealth. And I signed up for some investment courses, spent a couple months doing that, started investing in single family residentials. Did that for a few months, built up a small portfolio, but realized shortly after that wasn't going to be the way to get there. We realized there was going to be a challenge scaling that. And the other thing was what I had actually done for myself was create a second job. Being an analyst and having an analytical background, I enjoy the data, I enjoy the research, but I spent a lot of time on nights and weekends researching markets, underwriting deals, overseeing renovations, doing those sorts of things. And, being a new dad, still working a W-2 at that time, I just didn't really have the time for that. So real estate was working, but we started looking for other ways to invest in real estate that weren't going to consume so much of our time. And that's really when I stumbled across syndication. And at that time, I had no idea what syndication even was. And for those of you in the audience who might not understand what a syndication is, it's really just a way for a group of investors to pool their resources together to invest in large real estate that they couldn't take down on their own, right? So when you invest in a syndication, it's really a partnership. There's two groups of partners, a general partner and limited partners. General partner has all the active control. They have the management control over the asset. And then the limited partners are completely passive. They just invest equity and they share it in the majority of the returns. And so for us, where we were at that particular time, that was a great option. And so I remember at that time, I was actually listening to a Real Estate Radio Guys podcast. They had advertised a syndication seminar in Dallas. I, bought a ticket, flew out there, spent the weekend, signed up for their syndication mentoring club after that. And really for the next year, just immersed myself in all things syndication. And then on the backside of that, we were ready to start investing. I did some research, found some sponsors I liked. And then since then, we've invested in, I think, 5 syndications. I'm a partner on over 1,200 units on the limited side. And it's really been a game changer for us, Quentin. I mean, the returns are better. We have consistent cash flow. We get great tax advantages from that now. So for people that were in our situation, it really helps significantly. My wife has been able to step back from her corporate career. She works from home full time. She's around our boys every single day. She travels like a fraction of the time that she used to travel. And she's under a lot less stress. And then for me, I've also been able to step back. I've left my W-2 job. I started Novo Capital Management, which is a multifamily real estate investment firm, really focused on helping other accredited investors like myself, grow and preserve their wealth through stable but undervalued multifamily assets. And for me, it's really about building partnerships, long-term relationships, and helping other folks get the same level of freedom and flexibility that we have.
Man, thank you, Jason, sir. Thank you for this origin story. Man, thank you for paying so much close attention to your wife. I'm a husband myself, and I mean, they say a lot of times that purpose comes from pain, right? So identifying where your wife was,
Yeah.
wanting her to be around her kids, your kids, not just her kids, but I mean, to her, it was, these are the
Yes. Yeah.
kids that she's birthed, right? But you just really tapping in and finding a lane to be able to help her with her overall goal of being around her children more and being around your kids more. And so hats off to you, man. That's something to celebrate in itself. And so thank you, man. Thank you again for the story. What do you identify as some of the, and I want this two ways. What do you identify as some of the key strategies to your business and also to life that kind of keep you running smoothly, keeps your eyes on the prize?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I'll touch on the life question first. I think for me, being married, having a wife, having a family, it's having a clear vision and a clear purpose, and being aligned on that. I hear stories about significant others, whether they're, husband, wife, whoever they may be, that they're not necessarily in alignment on the direction they want to head. And that makes things really difficult. It makes it really hard to accomplish your goals if you don't have a shared vision. So fortunately, I have a great marriage. My wife and I see eye to eye on the really important things. We have a clear vision, a clear direction, and a clear strategy for how we want to achieve that. And so that's been a big part of that. And then, on the business side, I think strategy wise, for what I do in multifamily, I like to focus on markets that I have immediate access to. So I'm just outside of Nashville, Tennessee. There's a lot of great markets here in Tennessee. There's a lot of population growth. It's a really business friendly environment. It's just really a great place to be in real estate and even some of the peripheral markets. So I like to focus on my markets, become an expert in my markets, know them inside and out, build those relationships, and then get access to opportunities that other folks are not going to get access to.
Beautiful. Yeah, Jason, thank you so much. Tennessee is just a beautiful market, man. So, yeah, I know there's great things going on in Tennessee for sure. Now, listen, I love what you're saying. I love how you have built this space in this pocket where where you are finding success. And I also like to talk about in a point in the podcast where people show the success, but there is a journey of how you got to the success, right? And I want to sometimes point out that journey on how you got to the success. And so I know, you've been in it long enough, things get real, deals go sideways. There are times that you have to pivot fast. And Jason, I was wondering if you ever hit some adversity on your trail to success.
I think there's been a lot of adversity. Luckily, there haven't been any really significant hurdles. For me, this is a really competitive market. Obviously, a lot of people want to invest here. And so just, taking the time to develop those relationships. Now, I've been underwriting deals for quite a while, making offers and not getting offers accepted. So I would say some of the challenges I've had has been around, staying disciplined in my criteria and not straying outside of those criteria just for the sake of getting a deal done. I'm really particular about preserving capital. That's my first and foremost goal. Can't grow capital if you lose it. But it's really easy to get distracted and to maybe step outside of your framework or your guidelines, and take some risks that you might not have made because you're starting to feel the pressure maybe of not getting a deal done or wanting to get more deals done. So that's really been probably my biggest struggle is just making sure that I'm being careful and being disciplined in how I'm looking at potential investment opportunities.
Absolutely. And again, that's the analyst in you, right? Like, I think that's a lot of people can take actually like a cue from that when you talk about like data determining the outcome, being disciplined. Because sometimes if you get too emotional and try to make a deal, if you've been led by your emotions and instead of your disciplines, things can just fall apart very, very quickly. And so, yeah, I love when you talk about, the analytical part of you, because I think all of us can take a little beat from that for sure.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Yeah, thank you. And I would say I'll throw this out there too. For me, education is a big thing, Quentin. Anybody who knows me personally knows that like when I get involved in something, like I completely immerse myself in it.
Yeah.
So from the passive side, for people who are looking to invest, one of the things I put together early on when I was looking to do syndication and I knew it was the direction I wanted to head was what I call a smart investor framework. And it was really a framework that I put together for myself and my wife to make sure that we were picking investments that aligned with the goals and the strategy that we had. And that we're going to mitigate risk as much as possible. There's risk in everything, right? And nothing is without risk, but it's about taking calculated risks. And it's something I call the smart investor framework. And it's really just an acronym. S stands for structure, M is for model and assumptions, A is for alignment of interest, R is for risks, and T is for team. And so as I look at investments, I go each one of those things, and it really helps me stay on track, both from an active side, but especially a passive side, and to make sure that I'm looking at investments and asking the right questions. And it's a repeatable process. It's a repeatable framework that I can use every time I'm making an investment. And so that's a resource I'd be happy to share with your audience if it's something that we can provide in the show notes. But S is structure is really just about looking at an investment and making sure that it has the transparency necessary for the limited partners to make informed decisions. So those are things like how is the investment structured? How are the returns shared between the general partner and the limited partner? How often are communications made? What happens if there's an emergency and you need to get your investment out? Is that even possible? What are all the rules around that, right? And then, model and assumptions is, all of the criteria that go into underwriting a deal. And it's important for people to understand, I think, that when you see those pitch decks and you see those fancy numbers, the cash on cash returns and the IRRs and the equity multiples, that's just a story, Quentin. It's really just a story. It's something that was based on a model, and those models were based on assumptions. So you need to know what those assumptions were to understand whether or not that's a realistic investment and whether or not those returns could even be achieved. And then A is alignment of interest. So you're looking for investments where the general partner or the sponsor is aligned with the limited partners, right? Yeah. And one of the best ways, in my opinion, to do that is to make sure that the general partner is investing alongside the limited partners. And then there's also things like preferred returns and a number of other things that you can be looking at. Risk is pretty self-explanatory. You want to understand the risks involved with any investment, right? The market risks, what kind of debt is being used, what the capital stack is, all those questions around what are the risks you need to be aware of. And then T is the team, right? Who are the partners? Who's going to be managing this partnership? Who's making the investment? Who's making the decisions on your behalf? And, do they have the skill and the credibility and the what's necessary to make that a successful investment? So that's really helped us to stay on track in our investments, and hopefully it'll be something that helps other folks too.
I love it. So smart, structure, model assumption, alignment, risk, and team. Did I get that right? Man, great nugget. Great nugget.
You got it.
Yeah, great nugget. Thank you for adding that. That's great, man. Listen, let me ask you, what are you most focused on solving or scaling next? Like, what's the next real goal for you and Nova Capital, sir?
I think for me, for my personal firm, it's really looking for properties that can grow and preserve people's wealth. And so I'm focused, like I said, specifically on markets throughout Tennessee. I'm vertically integrated in the sense that I do in-house asset management, and my goal long term is to continue to build that out in a way that has properties in a geographic location that not only allow me to integrate with property management, continue to do asset management, but maybe even do something on the construction side. So always looking for opportunities. I love secondary, tertiary markets that are still close enough to the main population centers to benefit from the economic growth that's happening there, but areas that did not get the attention from developers and still have an undersupply and are still experiencing stable rent growth. And so always looking for opportunities, always looking to grow the business, looking to connect with other people who are interested in those types of opportunities. And that's where I'll be focusing most of my time, especially through the end of the year. There's going to be some loan maturities and some more opportunities coming around. And I think there's going to be some really good opportunities here in the next 6 to 12 months.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said you're looking for opportunities, looking to connect, because I want to talk briefly a little bit about relationships. I would love to get your view on relationships and growing them. So when growing your network, building relationships, what's made the biggest difference for you?
That's a great question. I read a book not too long ago, Quinn, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. It's called Never Eat Alone.
Ooh, no,
And
sir. Thank you.
it's a
Okay.
really good book, and it's focused on how to build meaningful relationships, meaningful, lasting relationships. And one of the ways you do that is by providing value, Quentin. And it's been a real eye opener for me. The tendency when we need help is to always ask for things that help us. But the best way to get help is to offer help first, right? And so one of the things I try to focus on when I'm building relationships is adding value first. And then, when you need help, when something comes up, those people will be around to help you out. So for me, it's not a transactional thing. I look to build long-term relationships, meaningful relationships, and I think by doing that, you build good camaraderie and you build relationships that last.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think relationships are everything in this space and just in life, period. I believe in community, common unity, people that's doing things together, people who you can hold you accountable. And like you said, people who you can add value to their life. So I definitely 100% agree with you, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, amen. I couldn't agree more, Quinn.
Absolutely. So listen, man, before we get out of here, if someone wanted to reach out to you, connect with you, collaborate with you, learn more about what you're doing, what's the best way for them to reach out to you, sir?
Yeah, I think the best way is to just go to the website. It's novocapitalmanagement.com and click on contact us and just set up a call. And it's a great way for us to get to know each other, for me to understand people's goals and objectives and their risk tolerance, and for people to understand my investment philosophy, the type of properties I like to invest in. And then if we're a good fit, to get added to the list and be able to see these kind of opportunities when they become available.
Absolutely. Listen, before we get out of here, is there any message that we did not touch on that maybe you wanted to give to people as inspiration, education, as encouragement? Is there anything on your heart that you wanted to give to people before we get out of here?
I think I would just say this. I would say, have a clear vision, have a clear direction, know what your goals are. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There are plenty of people out there who have done things already that you're trying to do. So build a strong network, build a strong team, and then you have to take action. You can't sit around. You can't just talk about it. You can't look at the data forever. You got to actually take action. And if you do those things, if you have a clear vision, if you build a strong team, and then you take action, you will achieve your goals.
But listen, y'all heard him, Mr. Jason Kenney. Sir, thank you, man. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your story. Thank you for your perspective. We absolutely need more people like you in this space of real estate sharks, man, in the world, man. So just thank you so much for being here today.
I appreciate it, Quinn. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So listen, y'all heard Mr. Kenney. You got the value from this conversation. He's given us amazing nuggets. Listen, we're going to continue to bring up amazing people just like Mr. Jason. So go ahead and subscribe. That way, when the show pops up, you can just come on in and get the value. Again, thank you again, Mr. Jason. And listen, everyone else, we will see you on the next time.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.